STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. And we are going to be talking about a lot of light, because if you have looked at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is "The Future is on Hold." And the reason why the future can be on hold is because 2 days ago on Tuesday, we had a full moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And it's the aspects to the planet of the future, Uranus, that are so harsh right now that the future can be on hold, because Uranus does rule the future. So under a full moon, we know that the moon opposes the sun. And that means the full moon was at 28 degrees of Capricorn and the sun was at 28 degrees of Cancer. But Pluto was also in Capricorn. These three planets are all harshly squaring Uranus in Aries at 24 degrees. So the square is very harsh because it's almost exact. And Uranus, as I said, rules the future, and freedom and rebellion and eccentricity and volatility. Uranus rules sudden change, and it is in a very impulsive fire sign, Aries. And Aries rules new beginnings. So that's what's on hold. Some new beginning that you may be anticipating right now is on hold. And that is because Capricorn rules the traditional 10th house of your career. And you're standing in the public eye, or your public reputation, and your long-term security. And Capricorn rules big business and big government agencies and bureaucratic administrations. Capricorns really do not like to skip steps. They like to be very thorough, and instead they go forward and they work in a very persevering and dependable manner, which they do prefer, so you can count on them. And they don't really like to be rushed, because they want to be sure that they've got everything in place correctly when they finish something. So Capricorn also rules time, because the planet that rules it is Saturn, and Saturn rules, of course, old age. That's why Capricorn rules your retirement as well. So a lot of things can be on hold right now simply because no one is too sure about their future. And the reason why is that since Capricorn is a business sign, it is possible that with the full moon in Capricorn opposing the sun in Cancer, that there can be some budget cuts. Remember, Capricorn rules that 10th house of career. And because Pluto is retrograde there, that also means there could be some changes in policies or procedures or management at a very high level. And that might put your future on hold in your work life. But at the same time, the sun is at the same degree in Cancer, and because these two planets oppose each other, that can always indicate indecision or confusion about perhaps a home matter or a family matter or some sort of real estate deal. And because these planets are so sharply squaring Uranus in Aries, any kind of a new beginning could be on hold for one of those reasons, and perhaps maybe even more than one of those reasons. So this is a time when you just have to realize that things are on hold. And it can be that they are on hold for matters that are completely out of your control. In other words, you can't change them because you're not in control of them, and you just need to be very, very patient right now. And yet there are 4 planets in fire signs, and fire signs are not known for their patience. And that is because Venus and Mercury in Leo are trining Saturn in Sagittarius, and they're also trining that Uranus in Aries. So there are a whole group of people that are sort of on a roll right now, and they want to see some sort of quick fix to everything, including any financial problems. And so they may want a speedy resolution either to an injustice or a financial matter. And unfortunately, whatever they want is probably not really going to happen, and certainly not as fast as they want it to. And the reason why is that, yes, there's a grand trine in fire signs, so that is good for all people that have a lot of dynamic energy and want to get going. But Venus and Mercury in Leo, the sign ruling leadership, children, sports, and entertainment and love affairs, are being harshly squared by Mars in Scorpio, and Mars is the dominant planet because it's at home in the sign it rules. So it is an indication that some men and women are not getting along, and since Scorpio is a fixed financial sign, it's money that they're not agreeing on. And so there's a problem there. And also, a lot of people can be feeling that they can sort of get by something with a little help from their old friends. And that's because Venus in Leo is trining Saturn in Sagittarius. And when Venus and Saturn trine each other, it does mean that loyal ties stick together. But it may not get you what you want, particularly if it involves money, because, as I said, Scorpio is a fixed financial sign. And there's also a grand trine in water signs. The Sun in Cancer is trining that Mars in Scorpio, and it's also trining Neptune in Pisces. Mars and Neptune are very strong right now because they're both at home in the sign they rule. And so there is the possibility, through a lot of empathy and understanding with other people, that secrets can be revealed in one way or another. Perhaps they can be leaked, and that justice can be done. And it can also be that that resolves a family problem or a real estate problem. So there's something good to look forward to that way. However, the full moon was in Capricorn, and that simply means that business, money, and long-term security all go together right now. And that is what we have to be very aware of. And it's really hard to think long-term when you are not too sure of what's happening around you at the present time. So I understand that this uncertainty right now can lead people to be very frustrated, but it's what we have to live through, and it won't last forever, but that is where we are right now. So what does this idea of the future being on hold mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think definitely your future is on hold in one way or another, and that is because Uranus, that planet of freedom, which is in your sign, but which also rules sudden change and rebellion, is being very harshly and almost exactly squared by the full moon in Capricorn, and by Pluto, and also by the Sun in Cancer. And so if there is a new start that you want to make, and it involves a home or family matter or a real estate matter, I think that is the outcome of that is uncertain at the moment, or it can be confusing. And you are also subject to the fact that there can be budget cuts, and there also can be changes in management for one reason or another, and you are not in control of that, Aries. So my advice to you is, hey, relax and enjoy the summer, because there is a grand trine in fire signs, and that means, yes, there could be uncertainty in a home or family matter or in a business or work environment, but Aries, your relationships are going great. And that's because Uranus, one love planet, which is in your sign, is being trined beautifully by Neptune, or by Mercury and Venus, the other love planet in Leo, and also by Saturn in Sagittarius. So I think your relationships with a lot of different people, even perfect strangers, can be working out really well. And if you could just relax and enjoy that, and realize that it is a little frustrating and not to have an ironclad guarantee about your future, but you don't, Aries. So concentrate on summer pleasures instead, because I think that'll make you happy. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when the future can be uncertain, but in your case, it's something that you might have been working on behind the scenes, or you might be involved with behind the scenes, so not a lot of people would know that it was so uncertain at this time, because I don't think you're advertising whatever it is that you're working at behind the scenes. And the reason why is that Uranus in Aries is right behind your sun sign. So something that is a little bit private in your life, or that you're being pretty quiet about, is really on hold right now, and it can be due to circumstances beyond your control. So instead, you should just concentrate on practical matters. The full moon in Capricorn, along with Pluto, both of them were trining your sun, and so is Jupiter in Virgo. So that means that you can be pleased with your long-term security prospects, and you can also be pleased with your bookkeeping or cost-cutting or any improvements that you have made in your health, and that could be great. So, I mean, slow but steady in these areas has been paying off for you, Taurus. However, it can be that you have a huge financial problem that is around you or coming right at you, and that is because Venus and Mercury in Leo are squaring your sun, which means that you perhaps are not getting along with loved ones, or else whatever they want is awfully expensive, and that could be driving you nuts. And Mars in Scorpio is opposing your sun, which means there are some extra bills to pay now, or back taxes or something like that, and you will have to come up with more money. So long term you're doing great, but in the short term I think you've got some worries, Taurus, and I would address them sooner rather than later, because that way it won't cost you as much. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when there aren't any planets in the air signs, so there's no way to stimulate new ideas about how to solve pressing problems. In fact, people are sort of stuck right now in their problems. However, there are planets ahead of your sign. The sun in Cancer is sextiling your sun, and Mercury, your own ruler, and Venus in Leo are also sextiling your sun. And that simply means that if you are involved in summer fun or in children's activities or sports or the entertainment world, you could be in your element and be very popular. Or if you are involved in a family matter or a real estate matter, that too could be working out really well for you. So I would limit my activities to those things, Gemini. And the reason why is that there are still some old problems that aren't going away. And since they've been there for a while, I would not address them if I were you. Just ignore them, Gemini, because it's out of your control. There's nothing you can do about problems that are around you, and they're sort of nitpicking problems. So if you could turn your back on them and simply enjoy summer fun, you would be very popular. So stick around people that you really like, Gemini, because you could have some fun right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that if there is an injustice to be solved, or there is some more money that you want and or you need to have come in, it could be headed your way, Cancer, which is good. Or if there is a mystery that you wanted to unravel or solve, you could go to the correct sources behind the scenes, and they would let you know what the real truth is, which is good. So, and that's because Neptune in Pisces is trining your sun, and so is Mars in Scorpio, and these are the two strongest planets right now because they're both at home in the sign they rule. So you are really in the driver's seat as far as home and family matters go. But because the full moon was opposing your sun, there is still some indecision or confusion or uncertainty, and I think it's about a career matter. And so I don't think you can solve it, because whatever the uncertainty is beyond your control. You'll just have to wait and see how something turns out at work. And that would involve budget cuts or management changes of one kind or another. And then there is always that uncertain, amazing and surprising thing that can just blow up right in front of your face. And that's because Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun. And that's why your future can be uncertain. Not because you're not sure of what you're doing, but because others aren't sure of what they're doing, and you more or less can be somewhat dependent upon them. So I hope that you're just patient and stick with your family, Cancer, because on that basis you can be quite successful. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, remember I said Venus and Mercury are in your sun sign, and they are still conjuncting each other. And that simply means that you can be full of good news. You can be very popular, Leo, with a lot of different people. And you're sort of a person that's in the know right now. And you can be coming up with all kinds of good ideas for entertainment or sports or children's activities, or perhaps you're just so popular you can sort of have your pick as far as love affairs go. That would be just fine with you. And besides, Saturn in Sagittarius is trining your sun, which means old school ties or old friends can be backing you up. And also Uranus in Aries is trining your sun. So your relationships are working wonderfully well right now, Leo, and you are more popular than you realize. So you should just enjoy that. And the reason why you should sort of bask in the glow of popularity right now is because Mars in Scorpio is staunchly squaring Venus and Mercury in your sun sign, and that simply means there can be some pressing problems dealing with financial matters or with an injustice, and they will not go away. And if that isn't bothering you, there can be someone around who is angry, jealous, or vindictive, and they would like to sort of get their revenge in one way or another. So your safety is at risk a little bit, Leo, and you need to be very careful. Stay away from angry people or anything that looks like it could be a dangerous situation. And of course, don't gamble. Even though you are very popular, I wouldn't take too many gambles right now, Leo. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, you can be very happy sort of with where you are right now, and particularly in your career. And the reason why is that full moon in Capricorn on Tuesday, along with Pluto, was trining Jupiter in your own sun sign. So the consistent work that you have been doing, particularly at sort of a high level, is being seen by the right people right now, and they can be really appreciating you. And so, Virgo, if you are not receiving recognition from on high right now, you will be. And the recognition or a reward or a promotion could come as early as next month in August, because Jupiter actually is going to leave your sun sign on September 9th. And I think before September 9th, there can be some recognition or a promotion or a reward for your very fine efforts this year. So you have had a good year, Virgo, and people can see it and they agree with it, particularly people in management. So I think that, you know, money, business, and long-term security all go together, and perhaps you are seeing that right now under that full moon that occurred on Tuesday in Capricorn. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, Libra. I'm sorry, Libra. This is a time when I think that, remember, you can be somewhat subject to sudden change, because Uranus in Aries has been opposing your sun sign for years, and that will continue. But the full moon in Capricorn on Tuesday, along with Pluto, was squaring your sun, Libra, and so was the sun in Cancer. And so you can be subject to sudden changes in your business environment or on your job, and that those sudden changes could be because of budget cuts or changes in management, and that would be rather challenging for you. Or there can be sudden changes in your home life or with a real estate deal. And if you are involved in anything like that, it can be that your future is on hold because the sun and the moon are so harshly squaring Uranus in Aries, and Uranus is opposing your own sun sign. So you could feel as if you're a person that's just caught in the middle of things you can't control at all. And that might make you feel helpless, Libra. But actually, your relationships are getting better. And I think you should just sort of relax and take the load off this week, Libra, because Venus, your ruler, has moved into Libra along with, into Leo, along with Mercury there, and they are sextiling your sun, which means that you can enjoy good news from a lover or from your friends or from children, or about sporting activities, or even the entertainment field. And you can be more popular than you realize, Libra. People can be seeing you in a very nice light right now, and they can see your true peace-loving nature, which is good. And also Jupiter in Virgo is right behind your sun sign. It too is sextiling your sun, and it was trined by the full moon in Capricorn. So where you may not feel as if anything good is happening to you outright, and that your future can be on hold due to circumstances beyond your control, at the same time, I think if you stopped a moment and reflected on how well liked you are, and at how successful you are in small ways behind the scenes, and how much your health may have improved lately, then I think you can be pretty happy. So be glad for the small things in life, Libra, because they do add up. And also, I just think you're far more popular than you realize. So I hope you get out and socialize. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is simply a time when I think that the ball is really in your court, because Mars, your own ruler, is in your sign. And that full moon in Capricorn was well stabilized by the Mars in your sign, because those planets were sextile each other, and Pluto was in Capricorn as well, sextiling that Mars, and Pluto is the other ruler of your sign. So that can make you pretty strong. And then the sun in Cancer was trining your sun, and Neptune in Pisces is also trining your sun, and also sextile that full moon in Capricorn. So if there is a business matter, or a matter that involves your public reputation or your long-term security, it is probably stabilized and working out pretty well for you. In other words, if push came to shove and you were contemplating retirement, you probably could retire pretty comfortably. And yet, if justice is your aim and you want to try to correct an injustice, you could certainly do that by really connecting the dots and by reviewing past information and looking it all over again and getting more from it this time around. So you're more powerful than you realize, Scorpio. However, there are different kinds of Scorpios, and since Venus and Mercury in Leo are squaring that Mars in your sign, if you decide to be jealous, angry, or vindictive, I mean, you could really land on somebody and get your revenge, but it still wouldn't make you happy. So I hope you don't go down that road, Scorpio. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when you can be enjoying summer fun. And the reason why is that Venus and Mercury in Leo are trining your sun, and Uranus in Aries is also trining your sun. And those, Venus and Uranus, are the two love planets. So you can be particularly well liked right now, Sagittarius, and old friends can come to your aid. You may need that because that full moon was right ahead of your sun sign, and it represented an uncertain future for a lot of people regarding some sort of new beginning that is up in the air right now. And it could do that for you too. And that's why I'm saying relax right now, Sagittarius, and just enjoy popularity and summer fun, because we all have to get through a frustrating time. You know, so much depends on other things happening in this world, and that's where we are right now. The uncertainty and the indecision and confusion right now are due to circumstances beyond our control, and that's why everyone's future is on hold in one way or another. So just try to enjoy your popularity instead, Sagittarius, because you are popular. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when I think that since the full moon was in your sign, that there could have been a lot of light on you, and you would have been rather pleased with your accomplishments. In other words, if business, money, and long-term security all go together, those are the things you could be pretty happy about, Capricorn, because you may have worked a very long time to make sure that you were secure, since that is definitely what your sign rules, and that's what's important to you. And Jupiter in Virgo was trining that full moon on Tuesday in your sign. So I think you can be pleased not only with cost-cutting measures, but with slight improvements in your health that you've been working on for a while. That could be really good for you. And in fact, you could be surprised by the fact that, you know, the little things do add up. And you could be feeling as if you have accomplished something, but we're only halfway through the year and there's more good things to come, Capricorn. So don't worry about the fact that some part of your future is on hold right now due to confusion or uncertainty or indecision on the part of other people. Just understand that that full moon in your sign was very well stabilized, and so are you. And be happy with that, Capricorn. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time, since there aren't any planets in the air signs where there's no fortification to your sun sign, and it's your ruler, Aquarius, that is being very harshly aspected by the full moon and Pluto in Capricorn, which is squaring Uranus, your ruler in Aries, and the sun in Cancer is also squaring your ruler, Uranus in Aries. And so that has an adverse effect on you as well, Aquarius. When the ruler of your sign is adversely affected, it generally is not too good for the sign itself. And on top of that, Venus or Mars in Scorpio is squaring your sun sign, which means there can be some jealous or vindictive people around you, so your safety is somewhat in question, so you need to be real careful with that. And Venus and Mercury in Leo are opposing your sun sign, which means other people are on a roll and want to go have fun. They may not be inviting you to go along, Aquarius. So this is definitely a frustrating time for you when you have to sit through a sort of an impasse where the future, particularly about a new beginning, is on hold. And it could be on hold because of budget cuts or changes in management. But be patient, Aquarius. Better times are coming this fall because after September 9th, Jupiter goes into Libra, and then all of the air signs will benefit from that. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is certainly a time when you can be far more informative than people realize, and that is because as you go back over facts and details, you can realize how much you know that perhaps other people don't realize you know, because Neptune is retrograde in your sign, but it's being tried by Mars in Scorpio and by the Sun in Cancer. So this is an excellent time for you to solve financial problems because you could get some backing or additional financing, which is good, or perhaps a raise. And also, this is a very good time for you to work cooperatively with someone else who wants to see that justice is done. So what I'm trying to say, Pisces, is spill the beans. It's a good idea because when you get problems out in the open and other people join with you to solve them, they get solved. So don't keep something to yourself right now, Pisces. It isn't worth it, and it could be a tremendous burden to you. Talk to somebody right now, because whoever you talk to can help you out. So give that a try. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org.